here are the objects we will be making. We'll do a very simple mug and a simple bottle. I know they look really complex, but trust me, once you know these basic techniques, it'll go fast and easy. I'll also show you a little bit of material shading. Nice smooth texture for the mug, and then a transparent texture for the bottle. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to hide my previous elements. And starting out, I'm just going to press Shift A to add a new mesh. This one will be a cylinder. I'll go back into my shaded view. And then I like to look at from an orthographic perspective. So I'll press 1 or 3 to look at the front or bottom or right side. And G and Z, I'm going to move it up a little ways. And now I'm going to edit the object. I actually didn't apply any sort of transformations here. I'll just do all of that in my edit mode. So I'm going to press Tab to go into edit mode. Remember, you can also do it up here. And then I'm going to select this front face and press 1 so that I'm back in that orthographic. And to move the top down, I'm just going to press G and Z. Squash it a little bit, and then I'm going to press S for scale. This is going to be the bottom of my bottle. Next, I'll press E to extrude and go up. And now I'm going to press E to extrude again. I'm going to go up a little ways. And S for scale, go in a little bit. And then E to extrude again. Go up a little less than previous. And S for scale again, go in. There we go, everything's looking nice and round. E to extrude to go up. And then to make the top of the bottle, I'm going to press E and S immediately. So when I pressed E, it does create a new face, but I didn't actually move it. S for scale, and it may be hard to see from where I'm positioned, but I actually am going out a little ways. I'll show you very soon. Okay, there I am. I'm going to press E again to extrude, and there is my top of the bottle. Perfect. Now I'm going to press I for inset, go in a little ways. And I'm going to do the inside of the bottle too. To do that, I'm going to go into X-ray mode. So it's this button right here, or Alt-Z. And I'm going to press E to extrude and then go way down. And then I'm going to extrude again. I'm basically going to, and then S for scale. I basically want to kind of like rebuild exactly what I did, only on the interior instead of the exterior. So E and S, just basically remodeling the bottle all over again. And E and S. If I want to go up a little ways, I can just press G and Z. There we go. I'm going to get out of X-ray mode. So I'm back to this geometric figure. And some final little elements. Right now, it's obviously very, very boxy. So I'm going to want to curve these sides. I'm going to curve the lip and the bottom. The most common way to apply any sort of curve in Blender is just by adding a bevel, because we're still working with polygons and faces. But you'll see when I add the bevel, it's going to look much, much more round. So in order to add the bevel, I'm going to go into edge mode and hold Alt and click this edge. And then I'm going to press Shift Alt and click this edge. Now to add the bevel, press Control B. And then move to the side. You guys will have one bevel by default, but if you scroll up or down on your scroll wheel, you'll add more. I don't need too many. Honestly, I think that looks perfect. And then I'm also going to bevel this side. So grab that edge by holding Alt and click, and then Control B to bevel. This one I might round a little bit more, but excellent. And then I'm going to get this side and this one. Perfect. And then each of these sides, this one, and this one, I'm going to give the same bevel. So Control B. Wherever you think it looks good. Okay, I'm happy with that. Awesome. Now, few final little things that you'll notice. It still looks quite geometric. There's a couple things that I can do to fix that. First one is right click and click Shade Smooth. And that immediately looks better, honestly a lot more like a bottle to me. So I'm pretty good with that. If you really want to, you can also add a subdivision. If you press Control and the number 3, that makes it look perfect, especially on the outside. However, just so you're aware, the inside is going to look off. I can tell if I put it into X-ray mode. Yeah, notice how like it rounds everything. I can fix that with more subdivisions, but you know, if it doesn't bother you, then you can just keep it where it's at. But yep, I kind of like this look. I'm going to keep it exactly there. And then next, I'm going to go ahead and create the mug. So I'm just going to move this bottle over to the side. And to make the mug, I'm making a brand new object. Oh, one other thing. This will be really valuable when you get into larger objects. You want to name each of these geometries that you've created. It's currently called cylinder. That does not give me any understanding of what it actually is. So I'm going to rename it bottle. And I'm going to go ahead and add a mug. So I'm in object mode. Remember, you can always do that here, or you can tab back and forth. But in object mode, press Shift A to add a new mesh. This will be another cylinder. Just go up a little ways. And then I'm going to tab over into edit mode. Press the face. Remember, you can switch into edit mode this way too. But I'm going to select this top face and press 1 so I get that nice orthographic. And I'm just going to go G and Z to go up a little ways for my mug. And then I'm going to press S for scale to make it go out so it's not so flat up and down. And then next, I'm going to go ahead and right now add my loop cuts. To do that, I'm going to press on the edge and then over on this edge, just hover on any one of these edges, honestly, and press Control R to add a loop cut. I'm going to add about 5 of them. That's just to give me a couple of faces for my handle. And from there, I'm going to select 2 faces. And the reason why I chose this was because, and like this many faces, is because I've got a flat edge right here that I can work with nice and easily. So if I press, there we go. All right, if I look at this side, I can even hide the bottle. I don't really need it right now. Go ahead and press, there's a couple things you can press, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to press E for extrude. And I want it to be completely horizontal, so I'm going to go Y for the Y axis and go out a little ways. I think about there's probably good. And then I'm going to select this edge and this edge. So bottom of this face, top of this face. And then I'm going to press G and Y to move it in the Y axis. And then I'm going to select these 2 faces, this one and this one. And then I'm going to add a bridge loop. To do that, I can click on Edge and go Bridge Edge Loops. One way that I prefer is, since I know it's an edge, I just press Control E for my edge options, and then Bridge Edge Loops. Now, before you move on to the next step, this is really important. I'm going to add cuts to it. You'll notice right here under the Bridge Edge Loops options, if it's not open for you from the get-go, then press it right here. If by chance like you clicked off of it, you're gonna have to just redo the bridge, which honestly not a big deal. Just Control Z a couple times and redo it. Bridge Edge Loops. Now for the number of cuts, go ahead and add a few. I'm gonna add, really it's as few as I think I can get away with. 4 seems pretty good. And I can mess with the smoothness of this as well. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, yep, I'm all set. And then I'm going to add the inside of the cup. So to do that, I'm just going to click on the top face, press I for inset, go in a little ways, and then change my view. Go into X-ray mode, select that top face, and press E for extrude, just like we did with the bottle, and go down, and then press S for scale. Okay, looks good. Get out of X-ray mode. And then I'm going to add some bevels. One right here, Control B. That nice and round. And then I'm also going to get the bottom and the inside. And here I might even consider looking at an X-ray mode, but Control B. But there you go. I think that looks pretty good. Awesome. All right, and then for this, the final touches, obviously it looks very chunky and geometric, especially the squareness of that handle. So to fix that, I'm gonna tab over into object mode, and I'm gonna press Control 3 for subdivision. Now that handle is nice and round. Oh, also right here for the subdivisions, you'll notice that you can add more or less. 3 is totally fine, especially if I right click and do shade smooth. If you wanted to add more subdivisions to try and make it look a little rounder, you can. I would just make sure you don't overdo it. Remember, the more faces that you add, the slower it's going to make everything. So you want it to be nice and small. And right now, one thing that's kind of bothering me is how round the transition is right here. So to fix that, I'm gonna tab over, and with my edge mode, I'm gonna add a loop cut right here. So Control R, click and make it nice and close. And what that's going to do, you can probably see it pretty well, but notice how this curve's really big and this curve's smaller. That's because it's transitioning into this cut. I'm gonna do the exact same thing to the bottom, and you'll notice right away, it's way less extreme. Awesome. Okay, let me unhide that bottle we made. And the final thing that we're going to do is add some materials. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into material mode. And I'll start with the mug, because I think that one's a little bit easier. But all I'm gonna do is, I kind of liked this red color for my mug, and I just turned the roughness way, way down. So now it's a nice reflective surface. And I like having 2 colors just to have like a little more contrast and kind of emphasize that color comparison. So I'm going to add white on the inside of this cup. To do that, I'm going to tab over into edit mode, and I'm going to select a few faces. First of all, I'll go into face mode, and I'm going to press Alt and click right next to this edge right here. That will select all of these faces in a round. And I'm going to do the exact same thing right here. I think I got it. There we go. I definitely got it now. All right, so I got this first bevel and then this edge right here. And I might need to grab these interior ones later, but I'm just going to press plus inside of my materials. I'm going to add a new material. This one will be white. If you'd like to make it a little bit darker or brighter, you definitely can. But tone down the roughness like crazy, just like I did with the red. And with these all highlighted, I'm going to click Assign with that white material. And then, let's see, I'm going to grab these as well. Click Assign with the white. There we go. I just selected those by my white selection tool. All right, so there we go. The cup is looking pretty good. And then next, my bottle. For the bottle, I'm going to do something very, very similar. I'm going to add a new material, but to make sure it's completely translucent, a lot of times what people will do is go into shading, and you'll have a little better understanding of the shaders and what you see. So for this one, the base is a Principal BSDF. I'm going to change that color. I'm going to make it kind of a greenish color. And then this part's really important. For the transmission, I'm going to change the weight to 1. You know, so right now it looks really rough, not really translucent at all, but we are going to fix that. I'm also going to tone the roughness way, way down. The higher it is, then the cloudier it's going to get, but I'm just going to tone it way down. And now it's looking a little bit more metallic. I still can't see through it, but like I'm getting a lot closer. My final elements to make this glass. Right up here, over on my right side, is the render tool. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to turn on, I think by default it's off, but I'm going to turn on this ray tracing element. And then I'm also going to do this inside of my materials. Under my settings, I'm going to click Ray Traced Transmission. And render method needs to be dithered, but Ray Traced Transmission. And now you'll see I can actually transmit or see elements through the bottle. And that will also work in modeling mode. Oops. But there we have it. A mug and a bottle. I hope you found this video informative. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great day, guys.